Most elderly parents will never tell you how they truly feel, not because they don't want to, but because they don't want to become a burden. Hi, my name is May. Welcome to Care Anchor, your health and care guide support. As parents grow older, something quietly begins to change. They speak a little less. They ask for less help. And sometimes, they start to keep things to themselves, not because everything is okay, but because they are trying to protect you from worry, from stress, from responsibility. And this is where many families misunderstand what's happening. What looks like independence can sometimes be silence. What looks like they're fine can sometimes be them holding things in. In this video, we'll explore what many elderly parents wish their children understood but rarely say out loud. Because sometimes, understanding what isn't said is the most important part of caring. 1. I don't want to be a burden. Even when they need help, many elderly parents hesitate to ask. They may struggle with small things, opening a jar, walking a little slower, or managing daily tasks quietly. But when you ask them, they still say, "I'm fine." Not because they are, but because they don't want to disturb your life. This is something many adult children misunderstand. To you, it may feel like they are managing well, but to them, it's a quiet effort to hold on to their independence. And sometimes, they would rather struggle a little than feel like they are becoming a burden. What this really means, they are not asking for less love. They are asking for support, without feeling like they are taking something away from you. 2. Your time means more than gifts. Many families try to show love in practical ways. Buying groceries, sending money, making sure everything is provided. And yes, those things matter. But there is something they often value more. Your time. A short visit, sitting together, even in silence. A simple conversation without rushing. Because here's the truth. As people grow older, time begins to feel different to them. Days can feel longer. Moments feel slower. And what fills that time becomes very important. So when you are present, even briefly, it stays with them longer than you may realize. Not because of what you said, but because you were there. 3. I miss feeling needed. One of the hardest transitions in aging is not physical, it's emotional. They once managed homes, raised children, made decisions, solved problems. Now, they may feel less involved. Things are often done for them instead of with them. And what they rarely say is, "I still want to feel useful." And slowly, something begins to change. They may stop offering opinions, stop getting involved, stop trying to contribute, not because they don't care, but because they feel like their role has changed. And what they rarely say out loud is, "I still want to matter." This means that, even small involvement, asking their opinion, letting them help in simple ways can restore something very important, a sense of purpose. 4. I notice when you're rushing. Even when you don't say anything, they can feel it. The quick replies, the distracted tone, the way your attention shifts even while they're still speaking. You may not mean any harm. You may just be busy thinking about work responsibilities or the next thing you have to do. But to them, it feels different. It feels like they need to speak faster, like their words need to be shorter, simpler, or quicker. And slowly they begin to adjust their expectations. They start saying less. Not because they have nothing to say, but because they don't want to feel like they are slowing you down. This is where many families don't realize what's happening. It's not the time you spend, it's how present you are in that time. Because sometimes, even a short conversation, when it's calm and undistracted, can mean far more than a long conversation that feels rushed. Number 5. I remember more than you think. Elderly parents carry memories very deeply. Small moments, words you said years ago, the way you treated them in passing. And often they don't forget, even when they don't mention it. A kind gesture can stay with them for a long time, so can a moment of distance or a time they felt overlooked. This is something people underestimate. You may move on quickly from a rushed visit or a short conversation, but for them, those moments don't always pass as easily. They reflect on them, quietly, over time. Not with resentment, but with feeling. And this is why your presence matters more than you think, because the way you make them feel today may stay with them far longer than you expect. 6. I don't always say when I'm hurt. There are times when they don't feel their best. It could be physical discomfort. It could be emotional, or simply a moment when something doesn't feel right. But instead of speaking up, they stay quiet. Not because it doesn't matter, but because they don't want to seem like they are complaining or asking for too much. So they manage it quietly, adjust, endure, and wait. And sometimes they wait longer than they should. This is something many families never see. Everything appears normal on the outside, but they may be carrying more than they show inside. This means that a simple question asked gently can open a door, not, "Are you okay?" in passing, but more like, "You seem a little uncomfortable today. Is there anything you'd like to talk about?" Just knowing they are safe to speak makes all the difference. 7. I just want you close. Closeness doesn't always mean being there every day, and they understand that. They know you have your life, work, and responsibilities, but what they quietly long for is connection. A call that isn't rushed, a message that feels thoughtful, a moment where they're remembered, because as life begins to feel quieter for them, those connections begin to matter more. It's not about how often you show up, it's about how you show up. Even a short call with full attention can feel more meaningful than a long visit full of distractions. To them, closeness is not distance. It's feeling like they still have a place in your life, that they are still thought of, still remembered, still important, and that feeling alone is enough. If you've been listening to this and thinking about your parent, that feeling matters, because awareness like this often comes quietly but changes a lot for better. Many elderly parents will never say these things out loud because they don't want to make life harder for you. And that's why it's important to notice these unsaid words and apply understanding and better connection. Remember, the greatest form of care is simply understanding without being told. Let us know how these information has opened your eyes to handling connections better. Subscribe for more healthcare information and tips. Leave a comment below. We read every comment and genuinely want to hear from you. Thanks for watching.